Okay, Commissioner Blumert, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay.
Okay, and Commissioner Mon?
Michael Taylor's here.
Okay, very good. You should be able to see me now, so we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, we'll call this meeting to order. The Board of County Commissioners, Commissioner Blumert and Commissioner Galvey, myself, are present, and Commissioner Mon is represented by his Chief Deputy, Michael Taylor. Our first item will be, as usual with video meetings, a discussion of possible action to set a date, time, and place for this meeting to reconvene in the event technical difficulties arise that cannot be resolved within 30 minutes. Is there a motion regarding that or a suggestion?
I move we reconvene tomorrow at 9 a.m.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, and again, this is if we have technical difficulties that cannot be resolved within 30 minutes. There's a motion and a second. We'll call the roll. Commissioner Blumert?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
And I'll vote aye. Okay, notice this meeting was properly posted on April 27th, 2020. Commissioner Blumert, do you have somebody to lead us in the prayer and pledge?
Mr. Barnes, are you in the room right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Barnes, would you like to lead our prayer and pledge of allegiance?
Thank you. Let's pray. Father God, we again come before you and just thank you for the opportunities to serve others. I pray, Lord, that during these challenging times, seek truth. Father, the truth that comes from you and not from man. Help us to look to you in all situations, to trust in your strength. Father, to rest in the fact that none of this is a surprise to you and that you're in control of all things. I pray for the commissioners today and their staffs and, Father, other leaders across our nation as they deliberate and make important decisions, that you would just grant them wisdom. Help them, Father, to seek you first and to seek the good of the people that they serve. We pray for the healthcare providers, the public safety personnel, others, Father, who are in essential roles to continue to work hard, Father, to be diligent. And I ask that you would just grant us all the ability to do the same, take our responsibilities, Father, in a manner that's pleasing to you. Love you, praise you, and ask all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you, Mr. Barnes. First item, next item, I should say, item 2, approval of the minutes. Is there a motion?
I move we approve our minutes.
Second.
Okay, we'll call the roll. Commissioner Blumert?
Aye.
Mr. Taylor?
Brian, aye.
Okay, so Commissioner Mon, thank you. Aye, and I will vote aye as well. Okay, our next item is the consent agenda, which is items 3 through 9. Is there a motion?
I move we approve our consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, we'll call the roll. Commissioner Blumert?
Aye.
Mr. Mon?
Aye.
And I'll vote aye. Okay, next item is from District 1, item 10. You have a resolution.
Yes, this is a resolution to recognize the month of May as Mental Health Month. You'll see in our next item that we are also directing Keith Monroe to light up our annex green in honor of Mental Health Month. Would you all, I know sometimes we read the resolution. Let me pull it up. Okay. This is resolution number 2020-1672, declaring the month of May as Mental Health Month in Oklahoma County. Whereas mental health is essential to everyone's overall health and well-being, and mental illnesses are common and treatable. And whereas mental health conditions are real and prevalent in our nation, our state, and our local communities. And whereas all people face challenges in life that can impact their mental health. Whereas 1 in 5 people, including our children, will experience a mental illness during their lifetime. And whereas prevention is an effective way to reduce the burden of mental health. And whereas there are practical tools that all people can use to improve their mental health and increase resiliency. And whereas with effective treatment, those individuals with mental health conditions can recover and lead full, productive lives. And whereas each business, school, government, healthcare provider, civic organization, and citizen share the responsibility of promoting mental health wellness and awareness and prevention efforts. And whereas Oklahoma County is dedicated to protecting and enhancing the health, welfare, and safety of county residents in efficient and cost-effective ways. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Oklahoma County Board of County Commissioners does hereby declare May 2020 as Mental Health Month in Oklahoma County. And be it further resolved that Oklahoma County Board of County Commissioners calls upon all citizens, government agencies, public and private institutions, businesses, and schools in Oklahoma County to commit to increasing awareness and understanding of mental health and the steps our citizens can take to protect their mental health and the need for appropriate and accessible services for all people with mental health conditions.
Okay.
And I will say that the city of Oklahoma City is going to be considering a similar resolution. I've been communicating with several council members to make sure that both the city and the county are on the same page in recognizing and honoring May as Mental Health Month.
Okay, very good. And I presume you'll move the item?
I will move the item.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, we have a motion and a second. Call the roll. Commissioner Bloomer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mon?
Aye.
And I'll vote aye. Resolution passes. And item 11, you mentioned it before, Commissioner Bloomer, about lighting up the our annex green. The only question I would have is, I assume we have the ability to do that.
Yes, we do. Mr. Monroe, are you in the room? I know we've lit up the courthouse. I know we've done it purple for Alzheimer's Month. And it's not Mr. Monroe, it's not a huge task. Am I correct?
That's right, and we can even change the hue of green.
Oh.
Okay, well, very good. Is there a motion?
I move we approve item 11.
Second.
Motion and a second. We'll call the roll. Commissioner Bloomer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mon?
Aye.
And I'll vote aye. Motion carries. Item 12, District 2.
Yes, this is to appoint Fred Mendoza for the Oklahoma County Finance Authority. I'd like to thank Daryl Smith for his exemplary service back. I think he served as the chair of that board, if I'm not mistaken, for several years, and he has decided to resign and pursue other interests, and I want to thank him for his service. I'll move the appointment of Mr. Mendoza.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we'll call the roll. Commissioner Bloomer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mon?
Aye.
And I'll vote aye. Motion carries. Item 13.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is an agreement with the Hare Industrial Authority, and that's another word for our burn pit that we typically use in District 2, as well as a salt shed for the snowstorms. So I'll move the item.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, call the roll. Commissioner Bloomer?
Aye.
Commissioner Mon?
Aye.
And I'll vote aye. Aye. Motion carries. Okay, facilities, item 14.
This is a lease agreement between the Board of County Commissioners and the Public Building Authority to accommodate the sheriff for approximately 23,000 square feet of Rouse building.
And Mr. Monroe, can you comment at all on, I know that this lease, it lays it out as $13.50 a square foot. And in the last budget board, we had a very brief discussion about, can we charge the sheriff's office $1 a year? Can you comment on that at all? Has this lease gone before the DA's office?
Yes, it has, and I think they look at this in terms of legality and not whether or not market rent should be charged. I think the DA can speak to that issue.
Okay.
There's somebody from the DA's office that would like to comment.
As I recall, it's always been the opinion of our office that it needs to be market rate, because between the Public Buildings Authority, its properties to pay off its bonds, and it also establishes a further separation between the county and its trust. And that's why it's always been established as the market value.
Okay. So it's the DA's office.
If you have further questions on that, you do have bond counsel for the PBA.
Okay.
And I might note that there might also be an issue, not just in terms of just flat legality of whether or not one can lease for less than market rate, just in terms of being a government entity, but there could be issues that could mess up the bond agreements that we have. And
Right.
those are typically even more stringent than the rules regarding public building needing to, get value for that. So there's those issues.
Oh, right. And it's my understanding, this is a practical matter, that your income stream is down for the PBA because of your parking. And you
That's
need to generate an income stream to pay off this bond.
Right.
That's just an aside.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Is there a
move the
motion on this?
item.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Commissioner Mon.
I move the item.
I'll second.
Okay, we'll call the roll. Commissioner Bloomer,
Aye.
Commissioner Mon.
Aye.
I'll vote no. The item carries. Next is the item 15. Mr. Monroe, this is the elevator ledges that we discussed in budget board the other day. Is it the same item?
Yes, that's exactly it. The elevator ledges are horizontal surfaces in the courthouse elevator hoistways that need to be addressed. This is $130,000. I believe we can accomplish this in the next 2 weeks. The window is very small for us here because of the amount of work that needs to be done, and I think it's the appropriate time to do this while traffic is limited here.
Right. Good thinking. And if I recall correctly from our discussion at budget board, the issue is, at least in part, that state and or federal regulators are now more or less requiring us to do away with the horizontal ledges, correct?
It's not more or less. They are mandating
They are,
that we address them.
It's more, not less. Okay, very good. Is there any further questions?
Keith, how often do elevator inspectors come to our buildings?
They're here annually unless they have other issues, and they've been here as many as 3 times a year to review deficiencies and determine whether or not repairs have been made.
Okay.
Okay.
I will move the item.
Okay.
Second.
Call the roll. Commissioner Bloomer,
Aye.
Commissioner Mon.
Aye.
I'll vote aye. Thank you, Mr. Monroe.
If you would give me the opportunity to thank publicly clerks of the board, our contractor, and DA, everybody who moved quickly to make sure that we could do this work in the window we had available.
Thank you for saying so, and I think that I appreciate you, Mr. Monroe, for being proactive during this time when we have reduced traffic in the courthouse to try to get some of these maintenance items knocked out so as to be as little disruptive as possible once we do have a more full traffic in the courthouse. Okay, item 16, Mr. Gammon, planning.
How about now? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a routine lot line adjustment. As you know, in platted subdivisions, we cannot just do that administratively. We have to do it by resolution to move lot lines. This is a lot line adjustment to correct something that happened during construction of the home. The builder overshot the lines, and they make an adjustment to their neighbors so that they can have equal amount of land back that they mistakenly built over. So
Okay,
this
it's in my
is-
district. It's in my
Mhm.
district. Unless there are questions about it, I'll go ahead and move the item.
I'll second.
Okay, we'll call the roll. Commissioner Bloomert,
Aye.
Commissioner Mon,
Aye.
I will vote aye. Thank you, Mr. Gammon.
All right, thank you.
Okay, item 18, opening of the bids.
I think we need to strike 17.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I think 17 is a repeat of 15.
It looks like it. Okay, so is that your motion, Commissioner?
Yeah, I'll move to strike item 17.
Okay,
Second.
we'll call the roll. Commissioner Bloomert,
Aye.
Commissioner Mon,
Aye.
I'll vote aye. Motion is stricken. Item 17 is stricken. Thank you. Now 18, opening of the bids. Ms. Bosa.
All right, good morning. We have 3 bids to open for CW 21017 Exterminating Services. First bid is RIP Pest and Weed Control. We have Duncan's Pest Control. And Allstate Termite and Pest Solution.
Move that be tabulated and returned.
Is there a
I'll second.
Okay, we'll call the roll. Commissioner Bloomert,
Aye.
Commissioner Mon,
Aye.
I'll vote aye. Thank you. Okay, item 19, the blanket purchase orders.
I move we approve our blanket purchase orders.
Second.
Call the roll. Commissioner Bloomert,
Aye.
Commissioner Mon,
Aye.
and I'll vote aye. And item 20, the claims.
I move we approve our claims.
Second.
Call the roll. Commissioner Bloomert,
Aye.
Commissioner Mon,
Aye.
and I'll vote aye. Are there any commissioner comments? Commissioner Bloomert.
Yes. As you all know, as Commissioner Kelby has, I've been working from home mostly. I will return to the office on Monday, and I believe Anna will as well. So you should start to see us in the building again. Thank you to Joe and Cody for holding down the fort while we were working from home. And thank you, Commissioner Mon and Commissioner Calvi, for voting to honor May as Mental Health Month.
Okay, very good. Commissioner Mon.
Just wanted to point out that the courtyard improvement is well underway. When you're down here next, I'd like to thank Charles Dotson from my office, who's really helped spearhead that, but the infrastructure committee as a whole and others who advanced that, and Judge Stoner, who provided a revenue stream for it. But it is coming along quite nicely. And also the 9th floor improvements to continue to build out the DA's office has come a long ways during this partial shutdown.
Okay, well, very good. Is there any new business? Seeing none, is there a motion to recess into executive session?
I move we recess.
Second.
Call the roll. Commissioner Bloomert,
Aye.
Commissioner Mon,
Aye.
and I'll vote aye. We are recessed into executive session. and we'll wait till we get the video correct on that.
Anywhere you want.
Dude, I got chills.
Or the podium. So what's your private account?
Sit right here if you want to.